He could have said anything. He says, and so you're going to prophesy. Now, what does it mean to prophesy? To prophesy is to hear and to speak what you heard. That word literally is a Greek word, and it means to speak forth, literally. So I'm hearing and I'm speaking. Now, what's the significance in me speaking? When I speak, I create. Because death and life are in the power of the tongue. We were created in the image of God. God spoke and things came to be. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And we're created in his image. That's why your words have power. That's why my son, man, he started complaining. I said, stop complaining. Speak the opposite of what you see. I feel this thing right now, boy. Boy. We live by faith, not by sight. And not blind faith, but faith on what? What God has spoken to us. What God has shown us. Raise your hand, you saw the book of Eli. Man, y'all know y'all better go see that movie and stop playing with me. I want to use some examples from the movie, and y'all making it very difficult for me. Shocks. So God releases on the day of Pentecost the greatest manifestation of his love. He released an early inheritance and pouring out his spirit upon all people. All people. And those who get it and understand will be able to prophesy, they'll be able to hear, and they will be able to manifest through their words, backed up by their actions. Those things that God has spoken. Man, God has spoken some ridiculous things over your lives. You know, sometimes God speaks some things to you and I, and we just can't. Let's just be honest, man. We're like, oh, that wasn't for me. No, that can't be for me because there is a wide chasm between where I am and what. No, that ain't that. I don't. You ever been there? Because he doesn't deal with you. See, when God speaks to you, remember, he's speaking with eternal perspective. You all know that. So he can say something about you that you have never seen in your life, and it will be absolutely ludicrous for you to embrace that thing that he said to you based on your knowledge of who you are. But see, that's just it. When he speaks to us, he's speaking from a place of the finished product. And so what he has factored in, what God has factored in is the deliverances that he's going to bring you through. The breakthroughs. You tell you and your wife are going to be world changers in the kingdom and your wife barely can get along. You know, that wasn't for me. Yes, it was. Because you didn't factor in the breakthrough that he was going to bring in your marriage. Ah! Oh, God. Ain't even got a passport, and God says you're going to touch the land of Haiti. Yeah. And just tell your neighbor, go get your passport now. Just get it today. Yeah, get it tomorrow. They'll be open at 8 in the morning. Get your passport. Prophecy. Prophecy. Let me show you something. Romans 8 and 19 real quick. Are we together? We just, I mean, we're just flowing, right? We're just talking, friends. You know, we're just friends, a bunch of friends in here talking. Hallelujah. I love the multicultural dynamic of this body of people right now. This looks more like Jesus to me than any church I've ever been to. I'm serious. I bet we have at least 30 or 40 different ethnicities in this room right now. This is what the church is supposed to look like. I'm sorry. Are you hearing what I'm saying? This is a beautiful thing. My God. Rainbow, covenant up in this place. There's all different shades and hues and heights and whips. And this is wonderful. And everybody beautiful. Making a beautiful tapestry that represents the glory of God. Hallelujah. All right, we're just talking. It's kind of funny. I think as the Lord was ministering and prophesying to us earlier, I recall hearing the words, God had waited. He waited for some of us. That's what I love about God. He can restore the years and redeem the time, and people will count you out. Count you out. And not factoring in the fact that God is a redeemer of time. Man, I feel this thing. Can I just talk a little bit? I promise I'll come back to that. But God has a way of, when you get in alignment, see, all you have to do is get an adjustment. Just one adjustment by virtue of a revelation. And that adjustment will put you in a position to be slingshotted into your future. It's like the tortoise and the hare. You remember that cartoon, Tortoise and the Hare? Even though the tortoise was kind of slick, because the cartoon that I watched, he actually had a big old engine in his, and y'all remember that? He opened it up, he had like a I'm sorry that the kid in me is coming out, but what I'm saying is, barring that horrible analogy, what I'm saying is, if you get in position, God will slingshot you past people, situations, circumstances that had counted you out. That's why you can never count anybody out. Don't do it. The same person you're counting out, God will make sure, he makes sure that you see that airplane passing by you, that private jet, and you on Southwest. And all right. For the creation waits. For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing or the manifestation of the children of God. All of creation is at a standstill waiting for us to embrace our true identity. It's at a standstill. In other words, it's not happening without us. That's why God can say, listen, I'm the one who started something in you, and I am going to complete it. Don't try to figure out how I'm going to do it. Just keep me before you. Don't try to figure, because sometimes, man, you ever been in a dilemma? Can I just talk and be honest with you? You ever been in a dilemma? Maybe it was some sort of struggle, some sort of bondage, and you just did not see, you like, how am I going to get out of this thing here? I've tried, I've cried, I've prayed, and I just seem to keep falling right back. Oh, God, I see some heads nodding. Right back into this predicament again. And you begin to give up and then start justifying, now you got to find a way, because I don't have faith for God's breakthrough. So now I got to find a way to try to justify that this is a part of my identity and this is just my cross I'm going to have to bear. That's out of context, people. God is a deliverer. A just man falls how many times, people? 7 times and rises up again. Is 7 literal? It might be for some people, but I would more suggest, I know I've probably fallen 777 times and rises up again. But we know that number 7 is representative of completion, of perfection. In other words, sometimes God will let you fall enough times in order for you to get up with a qualified inner part. Man, I wish I could say that better. See, you have to understand, it's what God does on the inside of you that matters. The stuff that you're going through, it doesn't have anything to do with your outsides. It's Him qualifying your insides. Are you hearing me? If your insides are frail and fragile, so much so that the pressures of life can squeeze you and choke you to death, then you're weak. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So God does a lot of exercises on the outside to develop something on the inside, which is where your real value and your real worth is.